the old struggle endures. The wall dividing life from death. It is so thin.
So The Order 1886 is an action shooter, third-person action shooter for the PlayStation 4, exclusively coming for the PlayStation 4 in 2014.
It's sort of interesting to learn that it's actually a single-player game. The way the branding reinforced these four characters, I was of the impression it would be like some sort of like Borderlands type title, but we can just go into more detail as to how you have this focus on actually making a single-player game with an ensemble cast.
Approaching this game from a single-player point of view was important to us because of the IP, because of how we wanted to relate to the player, and seeing this whole game through Galahad's eyes was the way that we thought would be best to introduce people to a world that we had imagined and built, although it is a historical fiction. The interesting part about that squad is what I personally have always loved about great stories. More often than not, great stories are built out of multiple people, not because of a single hero. People change because of their surroundings. And for us, introducing that squad very early on with the E3 trailer was a way for us to tell everyone, hey, here's a group of people you're going to start caring about. They're going to go through something. They're going to go through a story. They're going to go through life together, and they're going to influence everything that happens in the game. But we wanted that vehicle, that vessel that you felt the story through, to be Galahad, to be that main hero that could basically evolve with you and experience those moments in the game, those interactions, those relationships, through that person's eyes.
Lafayette, he's sort of the rookie, right? Usually, when you play those types of games, you're playing it through the rookie's eyes. Was that a conscious choice where you didn't want to fall into sort of that cliche of the player as sort of like the rookie?
The reason for choosing Galahad actually was because he represented, in my eyes at least, he represented what the status quo of the war was. When we built each of the characters' character sheets, we gave them traits. I gave them histories. I gave them, a birth date. I gave them a childhood. And as I was basically developing those, you start realizing who is the best person to basically live this story. Somebody who had experience, somebody who actually saw the world the way it was and will see the world the way it is in the future. Of course, Lafayette is a rookie. It would have been the easiest way to potentially portray all of this, but I think Lafayette would have too many questions. Lafayette as a rookie would have more questions than the story would build. He would have too many questions about the past. So therefore, it wasn't really a conscious choice of just saying hey, every other game does, like the rookie thing with the main character. It was more a question of for me to satisfy the story beats that existed before the story of 1886, of the Order 1886, and give enough history to him that I could, kind of change his path and basically take him on a journey that mattered to him because he had a past and not because he was a blank slate.
Without spoiling anything, how deep do you go into that lore?
So the Arthurian lore that we built into the game goes far deeper than just carrying a name. Sir Galahad, Sir Percival. There is their story, and I mentioned earlier that I wrote character sheets for each of these characters, and all of them has a story that goes and attaches to actually the lore of the real Arthur itself, and the reason why they're named the way they are. They have a story behind them. For example, we've touched on a few things that we're going to expand on in the future. The fact that they have lived longer than humans have lived. The fact that they have lived a life that have seen them take them through decades, longer than other people. The names of these knights actually are taken from their namesake before them. That means that every knight that was there before has given the name to a new knight. So Sir Galahad is not Sir Galahad just because he is. He's because Sir Galahad is the name that he took after a long time ago the original Sir Galahad was gone. And I think that's just part of it, and there's more lore that we're going to bring into play with the Arthurian legends and with other things as well that we're slowly infusing. But again, we're being very careful to not be a mashup, to be too many things. We're very specific about the things that will stick and not stick, but there's definitely going to be more story behind each of these characters and hopefully things that you'll find out in the game.